It's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it is Make It Monday. And this is a pre-recorded version because this is class week, and I'm going to show you the class projects that we're doing this week so that you can enjoy those. You'll be able to make those on your own if you like, and you'll be able to get the packet if you like. I just want to give you a couple heads up. One is today's the 12th when I'm recording this, and when you're seeing this for the first time anyways, if you're seeing this streamed, and you have 2 more days to place orders and in hopes of still getting them for Christmas. So I just want to tell you that. I also want to let you know that these projects, all 4 of them, will come in a packet to you anytime you place an order of $40 or more. So yeah, so you have 2 more days if you want to get it by Christmas. If you don't care, then, take your chances. But usually I cut that promise off by the 15th just so that, especially this month, because it's going to be Christmas, and once I'm finished on the 15th, I want to be done for the month of stamping. So anyways, just that little warning that they might not be available if you wait too long. Also, what else? I want to tell you that the new catalogs are here. I have them in my hand. I'm going to be sending them out as soon as possible. Trying to get through class, but my list is ready, and they're ready to get packaged up and sent. So by the end of this week, they'll go in the mail, so you can expect them really soon. If you're not sure that you're on my list, if you haven't placed an order with me in the last year, then you're probably at risk of not getting one. Just let me know if you are interested, and I will make sure that you get one. All right. What else did I want to let you know about? Oh, I wanted to tell you, and I'll tell you when we switch over, that we are having a special, just a little contest Stampin' Up! Is doing with us to encourage us to share the kits that Stampin' Up! Has. We have so many great kits. So I want to share with you one of the Christmas cards that I've been working on this month. I was inspired to change it up a little bit by one of our demonstrators on our team, Debbie Paisy, who's a creative genius. And so I want to show you what I came up with, and just to show you how cool this kit is. It's called Cozy and Bright, and it is still available as far as I know. Plus, we have a new kit out for like Valentine's Day or showers or that type of thing. It's little treat boxes. I'm not sure there's a ton of them in the kit. But anyways, you can see all that online. I will post the link where you can see those, and then you'll be able to look at all the other kits from there once you get to that point. So let me just flip over here. Oh, let me just say first, please pop on and say hi. Let me know that you're here. It's always encouraging to us for people to say hi. I know I won't be able to say hi back to you because I won't see your comment right away, but I will see it later, and it always helps me to know that you're enjoying it. And also, I'm going to do a drawing for a special prize this month for just because it's Christmas and it's celebration time. So I'm going to do a drawing for at least one, depending on how many comments we have and how many visitors. And sharing this is helpful too. So please get signed up by commenting or sharing this. Okay, let me flip over to my other screen here, and I will explain to you. This is one of the cards from the Cozy and Bright, but it has been stepped up. You'll see here I actually cut out a frond of an evergreen branch from one of our dies. I've added our little shimmery snowflakes that come already cut out like that. And then I sponged the orange, and I found a spray at Hobby Lobby. I don't know if you can see the shimmer to this. Hopefully you can see there's a shimmer here. I found a spray that actually sprays like a glitter spray. And so I added that to that piece. This one is actually a sticker, so I didn't put anything on that one. On this piece, I sponged all the edges, and I actually snipped in here. Hopefully you can see how there's some dimension there with these little pieces. I just snipped in there and folded these up. And yeah, so everything else is on the card. It's already pre-printed. Really, really easy to do these. And then, of course, the envelope is printed as well. And it just looks so finished and so beautiful. And then you have the room inside to put whatever you want to put. So that kit is, as far as I know, is still available. I believe there are 10. I don't think I have one. Let me see. Yeah, I think I used them all. I can't remember if it's 10 or 12 cards in the kit, but it's a nice amount of cards to get you going. All right, so let's go ahead and get started because I have a lot to show you tonight. First, I'm going to show you this card. This is the only card that we're doing at class this month, and I decided to turn it into a winter birthday because I know a lot of us are past making Christmas cards. I say a lot of us because I'm not completely done yet. But I also wanted to use some of our glimmery. This is our in color glimmer paper. This card is Tahitian Tide, and I'm also doing one in Orchid Opulence, Orchid Oasis, going back to an old color, because I didn't have quite enough of the Tahitian Tide glimmer paper. So look how pretty this is. Anyways, so we're going to do a birthday card for winter birthdays. So quickly, I'm just going to add a piece of this glittery ribbon. Just going to put that here at the bottom. And we'll get that glued on. I will tell you that we did go ahead and, if you notice here, we embossed the snowflake embossing folder across here. You might be able to see this one a little bit better with the color. See how pretty that is across the top there? So that's been done already. And let's go ahead and get this glued down. I always like to add some glue to the back of the ribbon after it's glued down, just to give it an extra little reassurance that it's going to stay. Now, it looks like my score line is a little off here, so let me just scoot that down here a little bit. Okay, we pop that in place. There we go. And let me just grab my bone folder now and get this done. Okay, so I do have a piece of, a couple of little pieces here. We did one of our die cut circles from the Shapes die cuts, and then I did want to put a little bit of color behind it, so we popped a circle out of the color that the paper is, just so when this little piece is lifted up that you'll be able to see some color behind it. And then we wanted to use our snowflake vellum as a little accent. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to just glue this right where that circle is going to go, because I don't want it to show, I don't want the glue to show through. And then I'm going to use some green glue here, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of glue here where it's not going to be seen, and then right there in the center. And actually, let me just glue this down first. We'll put this right in the center here. Press that real good. Now we're ready to put this in place, and you can put your snowflakes however you want to put them there. And again, if I just give these a little pop, you'll see how cool that looks with that color showing behind it. Okay, and then next we're going to take some of our adhesive matte or in color matte dots, and I'm going to pop one of these right in the center of there to coordinate with that. Last but not least is stamping our tag. So I forgot to tell you this piece. We die cut the from the annual catalog die set, from the stamp set Christmas to Remember, the seasonal labels dies, this piece right here that hopefully you can see. So that's what we cut that from. And let me just pull in a tag of paper here, 3/4 of an inch, and we're just going to stamp the happy birthday in Orchid Oasis. Ink that good. Don't want it to get all too squishy in there. So it's just tapping gently. There we go. That's gorgeous. And I'm just going to snip the end here so it's about the same as the other end. I'm not touching that because I want to make sure that's drying good. And I'm just going to stick it in here in the 3/4 inch slot and give that a snip. And I think that's a little too long yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do it again. And then we'll do the same thing to the other end. And do it twice. There we go. Perfect. And we'll get rid of these little pieces here, and we'll pop some dimensionals on the bottom of, or on the back of this. And this card is history. It's ready to send. And I have lots of birthday cards to get ready for the upcoming year, so yeah. All right, I'm gonna just put this up here. I don't want to hide this glimmer paper much, so it was really hard deciding what all I wanted to put on here, but I really want the glimmer paper to show through. And yeah, do you see how it's ombre? So it's dark to light on this side. All right, so there is the purple one and the blue one. We're ready to go to the next card. Okay, the next project that I want to show you is this cute little gift card holder. We designed this with the Texture Chic designer paper, and you'll see this little pocket here to put your gift card. So let's do that. So this piece, I just want to show you the measurements for that if you'd like to make one at home. 5 inches by 7 3/8 or 3/4. I'm sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. Looking at the right thing. 7 3/4 by 5. So you're going to score it at 2 inches and 5 inches. Scored at 2 and 5. So I already have those done. All right, and then the longest piece here will be your top, and we're going to do that first. So this is also my designer paper for the top. So I'm just going to pull my machine in here, and I want to show you how that's done. I decided rather than cut twice, we'll cut once. So I'll put the designer paper right to the edge. I'm going to turn it at an angle just because the die that I'm using is from our set called Basic Borders, and it's really wide. So I want to make sure that I keep it on the plate. I'm going to use a little bit of Post-it note tape to hold that in place. And I'm also, see, I'm trying to make sure this stays on the plate. The nice thing with this, with our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is that it is very wide. The part where it goes through is plenty wide, so we do have a little extra space to fit through. I just realized that, I don't know, I moved that paper for some reason while I was talking, I'm guessing. All right, I'm just eyeballing it. You can measure up here on either side, but I just tend to eyeball to see if it's about the same distance. And you can also measure to the center if you're concerned about that as well. And then we're just going to run that through the machine. I'm going to go forward and backward just so that I don't have to run the whole thing through. Oops, sorry about that. And there we go. I just realized that I put my wrong plate on the bottom, but that's okay. I try to keep one, the little nicer one for the top, for that doesn't get cut on. All right, so let me just get rid of this tape. I really like this tape because it doesn't tend to stick to my paper and tear it. So I'm finished with that. However, let me put that there. And now I'm going to just take this off, and we're going to go ahead and glue it to, we're just going to move it back a little bit and glue it in place so that it now, oh, I see I could have cut that a little bit shorter. Okay, there we go. And I see I left a little bit of edge here, so you can just scrape that off. Sometimes that, I don't know, it happens if your cutting plate is not as fresh as it could be. And then for the inside piece, once I fold this up, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And then we are going to cut off a little bit there so that your gift card will show through and they'll be able to grab it more easily. So once that's glued in place, this is the punch that I want to use for here. And I'm just going to eyeball again either side. I want about the same amount on either side. We'll just give that a little pop, and there we go. And now I'm ready to, I think we'll use just some green glue on the side here because I don't want it to be real wide. And you know how I am with Seal Plus, I get a little crazy usually and get that too wide. So we're just going to glue that and just hold that for a few seconds while I get the band ready. This piece is, I think I did this 6 3/4 by 1 inch. And then we are going to just wrap that around here. I'm going to start in the front because I'm going to be able to cover that with my leaf. So I'm going to start up here and just wrap and wrap. So I didn't score this ahead. And I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive here and then tack that down. Okay, I made that one a little tighter. My other one is just a little too loose, so it slides too easily. I don't want it to slide off until they want it off, and then they can slide it. And then this, we're going to do the same. I'm going to just put some adhesive here, get that started, wrap this around, and then I can just snip where I'm finished. And again, we'll put some adhesive there on that and tack that down. All right, see how pretty and simple that is? Now, we have this great tag and the holly leaves from the same die set from the holiday catalog, which are going to be going away. So your last chance to get those if you like those. And we are going to emboss. So I have my, my embossing buddy. I have my gold powder. I have my Merry Christmas greeting. I have my little tongs to hold on to. And I have my birthmark pad. Okay, so now we're ready to stamp. I'm going to get that hopefully stamped straight. I can't see where I'm stamping. Scoot that over here. I'm going to go ahead and just grab hold of this so that it's ready. Looks like it's a little crooked, but I think it's going to be good enough. And we all love that pop whenever it starts melting, don't we? And I like to just heat it till it's smooth, if possible. Sometimes it's dotty looking, but if you heat it a little bit more, you don't want to heat it too much. If you heat it too much, you'll do what I did there. I don't know if you can see that at the M, but it starts sinking into the paper. So there is a point where you don't want to heat it too much. So I did that a little bit too much. Let me go ahead and just clean this up real quick, and then we'll pop those on. Now, I did something that made this really easy to put together because I put some of our adhesive behind here. I'm using up lots of pieces that I had, so some of this is our old adhesive sheets. Sizzix used to make ours, and so I used some of that and some of our new, which they're both great. I think our new stuff is even better than this, but see how easily that peels off and then I can just pop this on here. And if it's easier for you to just take part of it off at a time, you can do that. Let's see, I got to get this lined up in the right things here. Boom, like that. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to put this here. I'm just going to use some glue dots to pop that on, and I'm going to keep them towards the inside of the leaf because the outside of my leaf is going to be overlapping our little band here, and this has to stick to the band because otherwise it won't slide. But so it has to stick just to the band. And then we'll put some dimensionals on this one. And just to be safe, I'm going to put them on the band so that I don't accidentally put them outside of where they should be. Okay. And then we'll pop that here. Ta-da! Just like that. And all finished. All right. That's 2 down. 2 more to go. Stick with me. Okay, our next project is this really cute card and box. It's connected. It's a box with a card. I just love this idea. I hope that you will too. And so I'm going to show you all of the measurements. I have made up a pattern to go with this. Let me just grab my extra piece. Oops. I have all my ribbon cut here, and now I just made a huge mess of it. Look at that. Okay, and our other pieces are here. The colors I'm using are Mossy Meadow and Shaded Spruce because they're some of the colors that are in this gorgeous designer paper, which is called, well, I have to show you this one because I know we're running out of holiday season, but the Boughs of Holly paper, if you didn't get any of that, it is amazing. 159600. It is so pretty. Let me show you that on the page. I'm not sure if that shows it any better or not. Yeah, there you can see. And you've seen me use a lot of these in different cards. So, all right, so let's do the pattern first and then give you a good idea of how to do that. First, I will show you. I think I can get this in here so that you can see this whole pattern. You can screenshot it. I believe I have posted it on my blog, stampthelove.blogspot.com. If I didn't do that yet, it's in the works. But anyways, so your piece, you're going to start with a 6.5 by 11 inch piece. So our regular cardstock will work for that. And then you're going to score it at, I suggest that you score this way first. So 3/4 of an inch and then 5 3/4. I'm going to give you time to write that down if you want to. 3/4 and 5 3/4, and remind you that I do have the pattern available. And then turn it this way, and you're going to score it at 3. At the 6 inch mark, you just need a little mark here before the score line. And what I did for this line here was I lifted this up, I put this in my 6 inch line, brought it down here, laid this back down carefully, and came back up and just scored that row up to the line so that I scored them on both ends. That's just important because that's a spot where you're going to be cutting. All right, and then 7.5, 8 1/4, 9 3/4, and 10.5. Okay, those are all of your score lines. So next, let me just get rid of this. You're going to cut on a few of these lines, and if you're not good at cutting straight, you might want to grab your trimmer, because where you see any blue here, that means you're going to cut that part out. Okay, so to those lines that we did there, we are actually going to cut that out. So this is 3/4 of an inch. I'm just going to go in there, and I'm going to set this down here at 6 inches because that's where I want to cut to. And I want to make sure that I cut off my whole score line. So 6 inches to there, and I am just gonna snip this part right here. And then we're gonna do the same thing here. So I'm going to flip it over so that I can do the same measurement up here, 6 inches. I'm using the little pointer on my cutting blade there to the top. Okay, I'm finished with that. And we'll just snip that off of there. Okay, so now we have, this is where our card is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that up just so that you can see it coming into design here. Now, we want to cut on all of these score lines here. So we're going to, I'm just going to look at the pattern here as we go so that I can think. These are going to be little tabs. They're all pretty much going to be tabs. So I'm going to V each one of them, completely getting rid of the score line and cutting into the point at the next score line. And I love our snips for this. If you have them clean, if you have all the goo and gook off of them, they usually cut very nicely into a point like that and make it really easy to reach the destination that you want. Okay, so we got all of those cut. Now finally we also want to take out, you'll see I have little stripes here in the corner of this design. We want to actually get rid of this piece. And I can't remember who I saw this original design by, but I did redesign it because I wanted a little more room here to actually use tear and tape. They had just a quarter of an inch, and I feel like that's not quite enough to hold a box together. So on the back of this, on the directions, which yeah, I think I wrote some directions on my post, but you'll put tear and tape on the back side of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that fairly close to the score line because that's where it's going to be holding down, and you want to make sure that it sticks really good at that juncture. So we'll push that down well. I'm going to go ahead and burnish all of these lines with my bone folder. Once you have these scores done, it really is quick and easy to put this together, and you're going to love it. The first one that I did, because I didn't have a video to show me how to do it, so it was a little tricky. But I realized if I fold on the 1, 2, 3, the third score line, and if you fold down on that one, just fold in this end tab that has the glue on it and stick it down. It will line up directly at that 6-inch mark that you had those score lines there and cut. And that will make a perfect box. Okay? Makes this nice and straight because you had it laying flat when you, now the top I did not glue down because of course you want to put your treats in there and be able to get your treats out of there. But the bottom I did go ahead and glued down because I didn't want the treats to fall out. So I'm just going to put some seal on there, and I put it on the front flap so that it doesn't show. Okay. So then that does require some ribbon, which is why we have a really long piece of ribbon. And oh, before I do that, I added a little bit of embossing to the front by using just a strip of paper. And we ran it through with the Fern embossing folder. And so I'm just going to decide which side I want to use there. And Seal Plus is always fun with this. So I just need to be a little more diligent when I'm putting that on there. I cut this just to fit right on the front of that. And just to give a little extra design to that. Now I'm ready to tie it. So I'm going to take my ribbon, wrap it around, just holding that flap closed. see if I have the right amount here. And then we'll just tie that as tight as we can. Voila! Isn't that so cute? Okay. All right, so now we have to finish the outside and the inside of our card. And this is just a little tight, so I'm just going to scoot that down. For the inside, I'm just adding a piece of white because it's dark, and I want to be able, I'm trying to think if I didn't stamp anything in there, okay. But I did have scraps of designer paper left, so I decided that I should go ahead and decorate the inside with a little bit of this matching designer paper. And so I just put it up here at the top, like so, just for a little extra interest. And let's do the front. I used a piece of, the spruce green. And this is cut to 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, I believe, because our panel is 3 inches wide. And then this is cut down another 1/4 of an inch, so it will be 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. And then we have our tag, and we're going to stamp that with "It's a Season of Magic and Wonder." And I don't remember, I think this came from the stamp set that has lots of extra Christmas sayings in it. And I have really enjoyed it this year. Let me just see if I can find that for you. Because it's one that I'm going to keep in my stash. Because you can never have enough good Christmas sayings, right? I hope I can find it. Here it is. No, that's not it. I don't have that one. I need that one. Now that Christmas is almost here and gone. Oh, it's from this one. Oh, we already used this card for that Snowflake birthday card. It's a Season of Magic and Wonder is from the Joyful Flurry set. So it's not from the other set, which I didn't find for you. Anyways, at least you know where you can find that, right? Okay, so we'll do one more really fun thing. We have these textural elements. They're little wooden berries. And I have loved these, and I so am excited to use it for this card. We also have this Snowfall Accent Puff Paint. I don't know how many of you saw it, but I'm shaking it a little bit. I should have done it before I got on camera. I'm going to pull in a piece of scrap paper because I don't want this to get on my pattern. This is very, very liquidy. I just want to tell you and warn you. Be very careful. Do not squeeze it very much at all. But you can see I'm just going to put a little ball of it on there and sort of smear it around. Trying to take it out to the edge. I didn't do that on my sample as much. And I did, I wanted it completely filled. So I did ink it a couple of times until I had as much on it as I could. I'm calling it ink, but it's not really ink. It's a liquid that's going to puff up as soon as we heat it. I think it sinks into the wood a little bit too, so whoops, I got a little much on that one. That one should be good and puffy, right? Okay. Now, let me grab my heating tool, and I think I'm going to, just going to hold this in place so it doesn't scoot on me. I can actually hold it by my hand because it's far enough away that it shouldn't get too hot. I'm going to hold it up here so you can hopefully see it good. I want you to see what happens to it. Wow. Some of them really puffed up. Look at that. Actually, let me do the dark behind it so you can see how puffy they are. Okay. All right, now we're ready to. Now you'll smell the wood heating as you heat those. No worries, it's not going to hurt the wood. And now we're ready to put this on. So I'm just going to use some green glue. You can use glue dots if you want to. A little bit of green glue on the back of these holds this really well. This glue is I think almost as good as a wood glue. So I'm going to just pop this right here. Just going to let that sit there and hopefully stick well while I go ahead. And with this piece, I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. I'm going to keep it out at the very end because I want it to overlap here. And so let me see if I have this on here right. Okay. Let's see where this is going to go. I'm going to go ahead and pop one right here. So I have them at the very end and then one in the center. And then I can go ahead and pop this in place. Press that down. Hopefully, if you need to hold that in place a little longer, you can. But yeah, there we go. All done. Isn't that cool? So I got to use both the things that I loved. I love the snowball puff paint, and I love these little wooden accents. I didn't use a lot because if I did them for a class, I needed to make sure that they were included in the class fee or something so that everybody was able to get what they needed. So anyways, that's 3. We have one more to go. Don't go away. At least is this beautiful pocket standing calendar. Okay, so you can put post-it notes in here, you can put a pen in here, whatever you want to do, and you could give this as a gift. Excuse me. So I am using a new set of dies that comes in the mini catalog in January, so you'll be able to find this when you get your mini. It coordinates. The paper is Celebration paper, guys. It's so pretty. So I wanted to use that, and then the dies, of course, and stamp set will coordinate with that. Okay, so let's go through. It's another pattern, so I want to just run through the size for you. First of all, this is just a regular card. It's 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So that's our base stand, our stand for the card. And I just want to show you that I got all of this out of one piece of paper. Let me just lay it on here so you can see. So there's our 11-inch piece. And then I used here to get, so this is 4 1/4 as well, because I wanted to get it all out of one sheet of paper. And then the piece comes from here. So there's a little piece in here I didn't use. Oops, let me scoot up here so you can see. Sorry about that. There's a little piece right in here that I didn't use. All right. So everything came from one sheet of cardstock. All right. So I did this piece. Let's do this one. This one is 6 1/4 inches by 4 1/4. And this is scored at a half on all sides, on 3 sides, I should say. So if it's easiest for you to come in over from this side, because I find it difficult to score because I'm right-handed to score on the left side. So I would score it at 5 3/4 and 5 1/4, and then 3 3/4 and 3 1/4, and then again 5 3/4 and 5 1/4, or a half inch. From a half inch and 1 inch are the measurements. Okay, to keep it easy. This piece is 3 inches by 4 3/4 inches because actually it's not supposed to be 4 3/4. I cut those too wide. I don't know what I was thinking. It's supposed to be 4 1/4 because it's only the width of the card. Interesting, Cindy. you overdid yourself there. I think I just forgot to come back and trim it off because it was just the width that it was left over. So 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And I scored this at 1/2 inch, 1 1/2 inches, and 1/2 inch. So that it's 1/2 inch on either side, and then there's 1 inch here. Let me go ahead and cut this down right away. And that will remind me that I need to take this cutter along for my class because we will have to cut those down. All right, so let's go ahead and make this part. This is the stand. This is the part to keep it standing up. So I'm going to fold that in half, and then these outside ones I'm going to fold back over so that this will look like a little W. Well, let's turn it this way for you so that you can see it looks like a W. Okay? And that's not right. That's how I did my other one. Sorry. I changed how I did this one. It's not a W, it's a looks like a tent. Okay? Then you're going to put adhesive, and I'm going to use tear and tape because I want this to stand for a long time. And did I put my tear and tape away? So I definitely want to use an adhesive that's going to really hold, you know, because this is going to take a lot of, what do I want to say, if you put stuff in it and move it around, and if your desk gets as messy as mine, it can get battered pretty good. So we want to make sure it holds. So press that down good, and let's go ahead, peel this off. This is so easy to do, and really, again, very quick once you get all of your measurements correct. Go ahead and fold this in half and just put it right to the bottom of the one piece of cardstock, and fold this down over top carefully, lining up the edges. I think I got that off just a hair because I see some. So I'm just going to snip this off here. I trimmed it down, but I think I still got it a little bit longer than I wanted to. All right, so now we have that created. So we have our stand. Now we're ready to create our box. So what we need to do is need to score on these, all the little lines that we did here. 1/4 1/2 on 3 sides. Sometimes I score, or I burnish before I cut, sometimes after. You can do it either way. Now, we want a little tab, and I always forget how I did this. Okay, so this is, what's going to happen here is this is going to fold up to create a box, all right? So that means that we don't need any of these pieces on this outside part. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of all 3 of those squares. And however you want to cut to get rid of them is fine. And then finally, I need to tab this, so I am going to cut. So everything that's scored here will get cut. Again, these 3 outside squares all get cut off. And again, you want to tab these the same direction on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and create a little tab there. All right, now I'm going to use green glue for this because I like how I can create this square, and this green glue will help these tabs to hold. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here. I'm going to tack that up inside. And then I want my, let's see, which one did I put on the bottom? I don't remember. I think I want this to go on the inside. So then I'm going to put a little bit of green glue on my side flap at the very bottom, and I'm going to create my box. Okay. So I want to hold that in place till that's glued really good. And once that creates that nice corner, It will be really easy to get a good look when you get this glued down on your card. So this corner is really crucial, very important to hold that for a few seconds. While I'm holding that, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue here, and again on the bottom of this piece. Okay, if you have little clips, you could put those on here and hold that for you. I'm going to go ahead and slide this up here because I think I can do both at the same time, and scooch that in. Make sure that's pressed in the whole way. And now I have this nice rectangle. I think that one's good, so we're going to press on this one and make sure this one is seated well. Once those corners are secure, it's going to be so easy. And I have a really cool thing. I'm hoping that it works out as good as it did when I made my sample. Because I grabbed, did I grab an ink pad? I had one here. Grab an ink pad. And the really cool thing about this is that this box is the same size as an ink pad. Okay, so if you want to, you could put it in here like this, press that down, and then you would be sure that your corners are perfectly square. Okay, well, while that's in there, let's go ahead and put our tear and tape on here. And let me grab I like these little square blocks from card kits and stuff to tear that. I don't like to overlap this because then you have to fight with it. Now you could use green glue for this too, and I did on my sample, but we'll see how it works on here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get that peeled off. Maybe. Easier said than done, right? Let's get this guy out here and see if it can help a little bit. Okay, so now we're ready to set this on the front, which doesn't matter which one because they're all the same. And I'm going to just line this up with the corner here. Line that up there. Come over to my other corner. Line that one up. I'm going to put my ink pad in here just for good measure to make that nice and square. And then I'm ready to press. And this pad gives you great surface, all sides, to press that down good and make sure that's sticking good. Voila, there it is. Now we're just ready to decorate. So we have pieces of designer paper from our celebration coming up. So in order to get that, you can place an order January and February. If you would like to earn a lot of stuff for free, you can host a party. You can host a Facebook party. I'm so excited. We are only having one celebration next year. So January and February is your chance to really get some great stuff. And we have some really beautiful things coming up. And then this piece goes inside of here, like so. And then your calendar, you can peel this off, and that will just, I used tear and tape to put this on. And then I just adhered with a little bit of green glue. I adhered this on here, trimmed off the bottom, and left this just overlap the calendar so that when you tear off a calendar page, this is loose so that it will just stand there. And then this beautiful little flower, which is the reason that I really needed this die set, will get popped on here. So I hope you enjoyed that. A great little gift idea that you can give to somebody if you like to give handmade gifts. So I hope you enjoyed all those projects this month. Again, if you would like to get them mailed to you, you can place an order online of $40 or more using the host code. Let's see, right here, this host code. I think that's correct. It looks really long, but I think I typed it in right. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful week. Hopefully, I will catch you next Monday, and then it'll be Christmas. Can you believe it?